All right, we're live. Welcome into the first off-season episode. We have now have the
Oh,
official draft order. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on winning Super Bowl 55. Pretty boring game.
no. Congratulations to Todd Bowles on winning Super Bowl 55.
Uh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Todd Bowles is gonna
Todd
be a head
Bowles and
coach.
his defense.
All right, Peter. Todd Bowles, I think after this game, actually his whole playoffs, honestly, but especially after this last game, is going to be a head coach sometime somewhere in 2022.
Probably, yeah, it has to be,
Yeah.
right?
Well, speaking of Brady, he's going to have minor surgical procedure on his knee.
Yeah, he'll win.
Yeah, I've seen that.
He's going to play till he's 50.
And Patrick
There's no
Mahomes
point.
is also getting turf toe surgery, or she just got, I think. So, I mean, we can recap the Super Bowl a little bit before we head into our mock draft. But, it was pretty.
There's not much to recap.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes running for his life, and his team gave up on him after the first quarter.
Yeah, the offensive play was too much to overcome. The wide receivers, McCole Hardman did nothing. Todd Bowles did an excellent job. They bracketed Tyreek Hill. It was a great game plan. And honestly, all I thought about during the Super Bowl was how upset were you as a Bills fan? Because Patrick Mahomes was clearly not 100%, and you let all the checkdowns happen. Go back and watch the game. It was checkdown after checkdown. Todd Bowles made him work for it, and McCole Hardman and Sammy Watkins just didn't come through. They didn't take the pressure off of Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, and the Bucs had a great game plan. And besides their defense, Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones just ran over him for almost 200 yards rushing. So complete domination, and that's really it. It was a slaughter, 31-9.
Well, look, this is going
Shout
to go
out
into
Gronk,
next
2
season
touchdowns.
Yeah, shout out Gronk.
now. Yeah,
Shout out
I
Gronk,
don't
2
know why you
touchdowns.
expected otherwise.
That was
Gronk
amazing.
won me some. At least he won me some money on FanDuel. I knew he was going to get some kind of touchdown. Got me too. But this is going to be the game plan going into next offseason now to play against the Chiefs. You're going to have 2 high safety all game. You're going to play man-to-man, and you're going to draft or sign or something. You need every team in the league right now is going to start getting these 2 fast linebackers and start running them. You could lock out the team's best tight end or their best running back. So when the Tampa Bay Bucs played the Saints, that's why Alvin Kamara was like a non-factor out of the backfield, not rushing, but as a pass catcher, he was ineffective. They had Devin White and Levante David running crazy on us. And against the Chiefs, we saw, even though Kelsey had his, I think it was like over 100 yards he still had. A lot of it was garbage time and on empty possessions, just going from like the 2-yard line maybe to the 30 and punting it again. So,
Dude, all I know is you're really going to see a lot of teams like investing into the tackle position from now on.
Well, that's what the Chiefs have to go tackle first round. Move Eric Fisher probably to right tackle.
I don't know if I do have him going tackle, but
guard. I mean, something like just some offense.
Well, look, right now,
yeah.
The other day, Orlando Brown requested a trade, right? So
he did.
Yeah, but they're in a different cap situation. I don't think they can go out there because I think he's a free agent next year.
You'd have to extend him, yeah, he would. If you're giving up a first round plus, you're gonna have to.
And they're in a very funky cap situation with their $500 million man over there.
His contract's kicking in next year, right? I think it's 25 next year, and then only up from there.
Yeah, and then you have Chris Jones, who they also extended. Did Tyreek Hill get an extension yet or no?
Well, Fisher's getting paid pretty big money. Frank Clark, Mitchell Schwartz. I don't know if
Hill's getting paid.
What about Honey Badger? What's Honey Badger making? I can't.
He's getting paid.
So they have a very weird cap situation over there. So,
well, when the rookie contract's over, which is coming up now, then you'll see guys who won't be on the team anymore. And I don't know this. I mean, I think the Chiefs are going to get back next year. I'm not worried about next year. I'm curious to see the Chiefs in 3 years, 2 years. They kind of remind me of Seattle Legion of Boom when Seattle lost on the 1 yard line. Everyone said they'd be back and it'd be a dynasty. I don't doubt Mahomes. I just doubt it's hard to win when your quarterback's getting paid 40, 50 million. You're gonna have to hit on every single draft pick.
Well, I don't doubt Andy Reid either though. Andy Reid's a great coach. So if anyone's gonna make it happen, it's gonna be him. So
it's not even about the coaching staff though. I think it's more of like what Ryan said. This team's a lot reminiscent of the LOB team in Seattle, where people. And last year when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I think everybody was too early to start saying dynasty because you take the cap into it and all the players are going to lose. But it's not like they had that Seattle kind of defense to begin with.
That's what I'm saying. They never had that defense.
Talent-wise, they're average at best, and just the offense overshined and was able to overcome it to make it look like it. And we kind of just ignored the fact like the defense is what it is. When you have Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, and they're scoring 35 points a game, your defense can give up 24 points and you'll still win. But now we're seeing if you have a good game plan for the offense just to slow them down like that, and the defensive pieces aren't there. So you have the cap situation for the next few years, and you're going to be drafting from picks 25 to 32 every year. So you need defensive linemen. So you need to be able to stop the run. You need faster linebackers, and you actually need a lockdown cornerback.
Yeah, I mean, those are all fair points. But I mean, we'll see what the Chiefs do. My main concern, besides all that, is Kelsey's 33. So when does he start to decline? Is it next year? Is it the year after? Like whenever Kelsey retires, the Chiefs have to find a real number 2 because and I know what you're saying, Peter, makes sense. Like everyone's in the draft, fast linebackers, kind of, but it's a lot easier said than done. Like the Tampa Bay had the personnel to stop or limit Kelsey and Hill. A lot of teams don't. But
this wouldn't have happened if the Raiders actually just took Devin White at 4.
Well,
there was no reason why they passed up on Devin White on the board. I don't know what Mayock was thinking.
Well, they got Cleveland.
Cleveland Farrell. That's what he was thinking.
Come on, man. They had another first round pick, and he still would have been available at that pick.
Well, they got who was after that? Jonathan Abram, right? And Josh Jacobs.
It was Josh Jacobs first, I think, right?
All 3 of them went in the first round. Farrell obviously first. But yeah, still, I mean, it's a good game. It's obviously a lot easier said than done. Is the point? I think the Chiefs will be fine next year. Like I said, I'm not worried about next year. I think they'll be right in the AFC Championship game again. But it's just interesting to see them going forward. And but we'll move on. We now have the official draft order after the Super Bowl. You boys ready?
Yep, we're gonna try to do a mock real quick.
1.0. All right, I'm gonna pull it up on my screen right now. All right, you guys can see it, right?
Yep.
Can we just for a second here, skip that first pick and putting Trevor Lawrence for a second so we can start the real mock draft? All right, thank you. Thank you.
And look, we're not going to do trades with this, right? So
thank you.
Yeah, no trades.
Even though we think something's going to happen, like Ryan, I know we were texting in our group chat earlier I think it was actually on Twitter, and you were saying that you thought the Jets were behind the Panthers or even just the Texans of Watson staying there of odds to go there. I actually think the Jets have the best odds to get Watson.
I'm going to say this. I've been saying it. I said the Panthers, but as time goes on and on, like the Texans, vice president actually just resigned a few days ago, who's been with the team for 20 years. There's people being fired, left and right in the organization, and people stepping down. I really just feel like the Texans are going to they're already super dysfunctional. I feel like they're not going to let him play. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm really coming to that conclusion. Like, I've already eliminated Watson out of my mind for the Jets. It's a possibility. I mean, I'd be excited if it happened, but I just feel like it's going to get really ugly between the Texans and Watson. Like, I think they have a really stubborn owner. We talked about him. We talked about their dysfunction. I just feel like they're going to – I don't know what they're going to do, but I feel like it's going to – I don't think there's going to be a resolution or a coming together anytime soon.
Well, that's the problem, because if they don't trade Watson before this year's draft, then it's really going to be – then we have to start talking about, all right, how many games is Watson going to sit out on the bench and not play?
And Watson's he's going to have to make that decision for himself. I mean, I was looking at his contract. He has made $40 million, but the big contract he signed last offseason has not kicked in yet. So Watson's going to have to decide, if he's not moved beforehand.
Well, that's why he has to push to get traded, in the next month and a half, 2 months, whatever, before the draft. So
happen like as time's gone on and on. Like, I know why it makes sense. I mean, clearly, it's not all about like the team. It's about behind the scenes what's going on in Houston, what Watson has a problem with. But I don't know. I feel like they're super dysfunctional and they're just not going to let it happen.
I don't know. At some point, somebody has to step up and be like, look, he's going to sit out. Watson's agent needs to go to the organization and say, look, if, the 2021 season rolls around, we're still on the roster, we're not playing. So trade us now before the draft, get whatever draft capital you could get, draft your new quarterback, all that, because I'm not playing either way. Let's not drag this out onto the summer.
No, and what you're saying makes perfect sense. Like, if he's not going to play for your team anymore, you should trade the guy, unfortunately, because you let it get to this point. I'm just saying the Texans have had an owner who said, don't let the inmates run the asylum. Like, if you go back and look at this guy, like, the Texans are a mess. Like, I think this guy would rather say to Deshaun Watson, you're playing for me, you're playing for nobody. And I think it's going to get to that stage. I think it's been going to that stage. And I mean, we'll see if Watson takes it like publicly himself, or he releases something in the coming weeks to try to get moved, try to, up this. But I just got a feeling, and we'll move on from this. But
Yeah, this has to be Zach Wilson at 2.
Markello,
It's either Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. It's just
I-
like kind of a pick of who's gonna, because quarterbacks at 2 always shift around. It's like, remember where I remember it was like what 2016 where we had no idea what was even going on in that quarterback situation.
yeah,
So this could really be like one of two guys.
I'm going Wilson. I've gone Wilson since the Jets. Actually, if you go back, if you guys follow me on Twitter, as soon as the Jets lost as soon as the Jets beat the Rams, I tweeted out Zach Wilson to the Jets. But I do really like Fields too, so I'm considering it. Like I wouldn't be upset with the pick, but I think
I would say Wilson.
In the floor offense, Zach Wilson makes a lot of sense. The Miami Dolphins. This one's interesting.
Do not believe the smoke. It is not going to be Jamar Chase.
Really?
It's all smoke, bro. 110%. They're going to want to protect Tua.
Yeah, I don't see how they pass up a tackle.
That would be
And
my thing, because Sewell is a really good tackle, one of the better ones to come out in the last couple of years. And then you could shift over Austin Jackson from left tackle to right tackle and kick in Robert Hunt from right tackle to guard. So it'd be like a nice like trifecta and really protect Tua. But I could see them taking. I don't think they're going to go Devontae Smith. I think if they did take a wide receiver, it would be Chase.
I don't think at 3.
But Chase is kind of that. He's a special prospect.
No, he's a freak. He's a freak.
I understand that. He's
no one's talking about him. No one's talking about him because Devontae Smith had a phenomenal year. I'm not taking away from him, and also because Chase didn't play.
So Smith won a Heisman, which is very unheard of for a wide receiver. But
yeah, I know. But you're picking at 3, right? And you have the need at a tackle. And even though you have a need a wide receiver, you could always figure that out. There are multiple rounds in the draft. It's a good class.
I'm going to have some mocks that do go Chase or Devontae Smith here just to make it, later on in the offseason, make it more fun. So the Falcons, I know we're all going to disagree on this because me personally, I think they're going to go Lance. I said this last week, but if you
swayed me on that, Ryan.
All right. Yeah. Let me explain why to everyone. Because the Atlanta Falcons are kind of a unique team because whoever gets drafted to play QB here is not going to step on the field in 2021. So I think the Falcons will shoot for the moon, shoot for the sky with Trey Lance. I think he don't get me wrong. I think Fields would fit in well here too. I like Fields a lot. I'm considering him picking 2nd overall. I'm just trying to think from the Atlanta.
Look, aside from Trevor Lawrence, I think Trey Lance definitely has the highest ceiling out of the remaining 3 quarterbacks. So
I don't know if I agree with that, because Lance has by far the biggest floor out of the 4, I think too.
It's just that
you think so?
Play.
The floor is very yeah.
You think his floor is high? I think his floor is I don't know.
I think his floor is the lowest out of the 4.
I think his ceiling is the highest out of the 3 remaining.
Isn't that what we said about Josh Allen a few years ago when he came out? Lowest floor, highest ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. That's the type of I don't know, but yeah, I like Atlanta's situation where that he doesn't have to get rushed into play. So,
I mean, what do you think?
I think it's a no-brainer.
Fields makes a lot of sense here too. I'm not going to be upset if the Falcons go Fields. I'm trying to think Arthur Smith. What they ran with Tannehill. Trey Lance is a better athlete than Fields, but Fields can run too. But
Falcons Twitter is convinced they're going defense over here, and they're going to restructure Matt Ryan's contract next year.
But Matt Ryan, 36. I don't know if you can consider him your franchise quarterback.
They're not going to.
They're in denial, man. They're in denial.
They're not going to pick.
Yeah, they're not going to be picking in this place. It has to be a quarterback. So
I think it's Fields, but if you guys want to go Lance, you could override.
I'm going to go Lance just because he's my favorite guy.
All right, let's go Lance. Let's make it interesting. I've only seen Lance here mocked once or twice. It's a lot of Fields or Wilson being at 4. So the Bengals, they missed out on Sewell. What do you guys think? Do we give them?
I still think they get. I think they get Slater.
So you would go Slater here?
Yeah,
I 100% would go Slater. Dude, you have to. Burrow is going to get killed.
Injury.
Yeah, Burrow's going to get killed again behind that line. There's no way you're going to take the chance on the guy you spent the number 1 overall pick on last year. It's not happening in my eyes.
He's a little bit undersized for a tackle. He's only 6'3". There's not a lot of successful tackles who are 6'3" or shorter.
Well, I don't know.
Everyone's gassing him though because of the one game he had against Chase Young. So everyone
think it was
the next
Daniel Jeremiah.
I have no doubt he's going to be a great guard. Yeah, Daniel Jeremiah has Slater as the highest rated tackle in this class, which I don't agree with. But
I don't agree with it either. But if
even both Slater and Sewell both really are natural tackles. They're both suited at the guard position better. It's just that they're both really, really fast, for the position, so it works out well.
Well, look,
you
in
guys wanna go-
Cincinnati, besides Jonah Williams, you need all new
Oh yeah,
offensive
they need
linemen.
offensive linemen. I'm just saying they could. Well, the mocks are going to change after free agency. I just wouldn't be surprised if they spent big bucks in free agency. And because I think I'm just looking at the board here. You know, if Sewell falls obviously to 5, he's the pick. But right now he didn't. I just don't know how you could pass on Jamar Chase. I know they have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, and they definitely need offensive line. But we'll go Slater here. But
I think it has to be.
I get your
I think
case
somebody's gonna
too,
lose their
just
job
because it's Joe Burrow's receiver from LSU.
not even that.
I know, but
yeah, I mean that helps too. But you go into a year with Jamar Chase, Higgins, and Tyler Boyd.
yeah, and Joe Burrow gets destroyed again, and then it was all for nothing. Look, the way I think T. Higgins is T. Higgins, yes, and he's shown promise and flashes. We're not talking about him like he's DK Metcalf or anything, but at the end of the day, it was the first pick in the second round that you took the guy with last year. I don't think you take, top 5 pick another receiver. I think you have to protect Joe Burrow, especially after the injury.
No, and that's why if it wouldn't be a question if Sewell fall to 5.
Yeah.
In our scenario, he didn't, and I think it gets to a point where best player available triumphs over the needs. I don't think you draft based on needs in the draft if it doesn't add up with value. But we'll keep
if it's not an offensive lineman, it would, I think, be Jamar Chase.
Yeah, personally, I think this is Chase, but Slater's fine. This is a 1.0. And the free agency hasn't happened yet. So if they sign a big free agent like Trent Williams, then this will obviously change.
This pick has
This
to be a
is
no-brainer.
Chase right here, at least.
Philadelphia
this is
fans
Chase
are
at
jumping for joy.
Okay, let me ask you this. So yes, Jamar Chase, 100%. So the Eagles are going to trade Wentz. I don't think that's it's not a bold take anymore. There's a very good chance Wentz is traded sometime this week or next week.
Probably the
Do you
Colts.
consider Justin Fields?
No,
I think you have to consider all your options when everybody's this high. You have a top 3 quarterback prospect. He falls to you. I think you have to do your homework on it, especially given your quarterback situation. But you just took Jalen Hurts, right?
But the guy who took him got fired.
Understandable, but he was still worth a second-round pick, and this is.
Don't get me wrong though. Jalen Hurts hasn't been.
Year.
I feel like everyone's jumping about Jalen Hurts. He wasn't good either. And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, situation was horrible," but it doesn't. He still wasn't good. This was the same team that we were lighting Carson Wentz on fire for, losing with. So if you're gonna throw him under the bus, throw the kid under the bus too.
At the end of the day, though, in the NFL, they don't jump quarterbacks that quickly.
Yeah, no, I still think this is probably Trace, and they try to salvage whatever's left in Hurts, but if they end up top 5 again next year, look for a quarterback taken.
No, that makes perfect sense. Would you consider Kyle Pitts here?
I love Kyle Pitts, but I don't think over Jamar Chase.
No, I'm just talking about just consideration.
No, I'm not looking at tight end right now for the Eagles.
All right. The Detroit Lions. Fields has fallen to 7. Their plan, obviously, they got golf, but do you pass up on a potential long-term answer at QB?
I don't think they're trying to figure it out right now.
I think they actually believe in golf.
I think they will pass.
Yeah, I think they also pass. But the only thing is, do you guys think they go Devontae Smith? Or do you think they just try and bolster their defense with Micah Parsons? But we were talking about Micah Parsons before this.
He has some character issues and, I guess legal
allegations and whatnot.
I think it'd be Devontae Smith, even Parsons didn't have the off-field stuff going on right now. I expect Kenny Golladay to walk out the door in free agency and Marvin Jones and Danny Amendola is a free agent. So literally their whole entire receiving corps is a free agent. And Devontae Smith, who just won the Heisman, fell to you.
Yeah, I'm good with that pick.
I think that's
the pick. I agree too. I'm a little upset because I wanted him for the Giants, but it's cool.
I'm not gonna lie. I think they should take Fields in this spot, but
I don't think they will. And if Parsons didn't have the allegations, I think the spot is Parsons.
Yeah.
So the Carolina Panthers, who are one of the most aggressive teams this offseason going for a quarterback somehow.
Yeah, I don't even think they're going to be staying at this pick. I think this pick is going to be owned by another team when the time comes to the draft.
I don't know what the Panthers are going to do, whether it's Watson or whether they trade up. But right now, there's no trade ups. And I think this is pretty obvious. They have no belief in Teddy Bridgewater. They want to move him and start fresh. So Justin Fields, incredible value if he fell to 8 in this draft. Because honestly, he'd be quarterback 1 in a lot of other drafts.
This has to be Patrick Surtain just because they released AJ Bouye yesterday.
Yep, they just released AJ Bouye. I can make the argument for Farley, honestly.
I like Farley.
I think some analysts are.
I actually
still think
Surtain.
Really?
I do. Just athletic upside, but I think it'll be Surtain here. I think you're right. And the Fangio defense.
Either way, we know it's going defensive back at this pick.
Yeah, I mean they have the option of the top 3 guys in this class, and they're sticking with Locke for another year. So,
which I think is the right decision.
So the Cowboys.
What did you guys put Dallas for?
Okay, so
I'm gonna say my pick last.
I had them Rashawn Slater, but obviously in our scenario did not plan out.
In my mock, I put them for Kyle Pitts.
I think Farley here, if this is the scenario.
I gave him Darisaw.
I could see that too, though. If Farley's there, they could easily go Farley to match them up.
I gave him Darisaw though, because I still think Darisaw is like one of the top like tackles in this draft.
I agree with that. I don't know if I think 10 is a little bit high for him, but that's why I was saying I gave him Slater in my scenario, but he didn't fall. Like I think that's perfectly logical, them taking an offensive tackle here because Tyron Smith's toward the end. And they need.
And that line was always injured, so
they need to attack Dak.
We saw.
Yeah,
and we saw how bad that team is without that offensive line. So.
All right. So what do you guys want to do? You all have 3 different players.
I don't think they're going to reach at tackle at number 10 with the talents of Farley and Pitts on the board. I really do think it's one of those 2 picks.
Yeah, I agree with that with our mock draft.
I would say give him Farley.
Is that because you want Pitts next, or?
No, I don't want Pitts.
All right. I think Farley's the pick here. In our scenario, the New York Football Giants. Markel, you can start us or sell us players. Let's go.
Who do I want at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, based on how the board fell. Damn, man, like you see Micah Parsons there, and you're like, wow, Micah Parsons at 11? No way. But do we know that he's going to be okay to play?
I think so. I think stuff will clear up when it comes draft time. But
I send him the ticket for Micah Parsons then.
You're not trying to give – you don't think Gettleman's going to try to give Daniel Jones the best opportunities,
I actually think
I would go Waddle over Pitts. I would go Waddle over Pitts.
I wouldn't.
Really?
And I love Waddle. I think
they're done with Evan Ingram in New York.
No, we wouldn't play Kyle Pitts at tight end. We would probably put him at the X receiver or something.
I think he can play it. I think
he could play it. He's 6'6".
Like Waddle is the next best available wide receiver, and he still, could make a good thing for a team. But Kyle Pitts is a generational player at his position, and I just think you go best available. And I think they're done with Evan Ingram anyway, regardless of where you put Pitts.
Markella, your final call.
I mean, I don't think we go Pitts.
I think I would take Pitts. I agree with Peter. Just I don't think you can pass on him.
I mean, send it for Pitts.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if Micah Parsons, if he falls to this pick though, we take him.
What about a hog molly? We haven't mentioned Rousseau.
No, I'm all for Rousseau. I think he's falling into the 20s.
I'm just saying, Dave Gettleman, don't rule anything out. Hog mollies. All right. Markel, you're the Giants fan, so you pick.
Oh man.
You want to go first?
I mean, you guys are selling me on Pitts, so I guess we'll go with Pitts.
I think that's a smart. I think it's going to be Pitts or Waddle come draft day for you. I think they're going to try to help Daniel Jones.
I just think Parsons is going to fall maybe a little bit more.
The San Francisco 49ers.
So this is interesting because we still have Mac Jones on the board, and I'm sure they were hoping for Trey Lance to still be on the board.
This isn't Mac Jones, I don't think.
I don't think this is Mac.
I don't think it is either, but I think they think about it.
I think this is either a tackle or a corner.
It would have to be corner. They're losing all of their secondary, and you have J.C. Horn on the board.
All right. Yeah, I think that's fair.
You have to. They're losing everybody in free agency.
Yeah, they're literally their entire secondary, all Sherman.
And even if they're able to bring back one of them, there's no way they can bring back all of them.
Barrett. They have literally 4 corners as free agent and a safety. But I'm just saying, if they do lose Trent Williams, if they can't afford Trent Williams because of how much Jimmy Garoppolo's getting paid, don't be surprised if they have to reach on a Darisaw. And Darisaw's still a good player, so it wouldn't be a crazy pick. The LA Chargers, I think this is where Darisaw comes off the board.
Yeah, this has to be Darisaw if he's still on the board.
I could see them trying to get Orlando Brown, like you talked about earlier. He's on the trade block. Would you guys trade 13th overall for Orlando Brown? He's 24. I know you're going to have to pay him, but you got Herbert on a cheap deal. I think that's something they should consider.
I probably wouldn't, just because you have to pay him.
Yeah, I don't think I would trade pick 13, maybe a future first I would do, and you bank on you have him, you have your 13th pick, and you're going to be picking, you're going to be make a playoff push, a wild card push. I don't think I would give up 13.
Yeah,
Okay.
me either.
All right, that's fair. So Carousel, no, we're all in agreement here.
That pick's good with me. If it's not a tackle, it's a guard, but it's going to be an offensive lineman.
Guard's a little bit early to pick. Vera Tucker.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It has to be an offensive lineman.
Vera Tucker would have been the only one I considered there, honestly. Minnesota Vikings, they're interesting.
This has to be quick pay. They're like desperate for edge.
Yeah, I have them going Russo, but if you want to go Pay, you could do that too.
I think Pay is better than Russo.
I'm trying to think. I think Pay is also better than Russo, but Mike Zimmer kind of likes the really versatile guys, and Russo plays end, and he could play a little bit of nose, even though like it's not his ideal position.
He's not really like phenomenal off the edge though. Like if you look at what Rousseau is really, really good at, he like hits the A gap really well, just at nose.
I think they would go Pay here. Like he's more explosive. I think they'll want like a running back next to Hunter on the other side.
Way more athletic.
He ran like a crazy 3-cone drill time, like one of the fastest ones for an end. But I agree. I think it's going to be Pay or Russo. The New England Patriots, can they pass on Waddle or Parsons here? I don't think they can. Or Mac Jones.
I don't think they take Parsons if there's allegations.
Mac Jones, this is where the clock starts, at least for me.
Yeah.
I don't think they take him either, but I think because Bill Belichick and Nick Saban are good friends, so he'll have the insight to what kind of person and quarterback Mac Jones is.
I actually don't think he would go Waddle either. I think this would either be Parsons or Jones, or it could go Russo. It's going to be a defensive player or it's going to be a quarterback. And I don't know. Me personally, I think I'm lower than most people on Mac Jones. I see a lot of people on Twitter raving about him, how he's an underrated prospect, but I just don't see the ceiling potential. I'm not drafting a game manager what I think his career would end up being. Not that he was going to be a bad player, but I'm not drafting Teddy Bridgewater in the first round. Somebody who would do that for your team. I'm just not doing it.
I think that's fair. I think the hype on Mac Jones will die down when we come closer to April 29th, whatever the date is. I know there's been top 15 buzz. I still don't see it. I know the interesting analogy, because this quarterback market on off season is going to be nuts. Everyone knows it. Everyone is playing a game of musical chairs, and we have too many people and not enough chairs. So there's going to be teams who miss out. This is how it is. So could the Patriots take Mac Jones? Absolutely. I don't think Bill Belichick will. He doesn't really panic. He kind of takes second round and third round quarterbacks instead and pair him with a veteran. So assuming that Mac Jones doesn't go here, who are we taking?
Honestly,
Russo?
Again,
Waddle?
you could go Russo, but I do think even with the allegations at 15 and how Bill Belichick loves his linebackers, I do think it's possible to take Parsons here.
I can see that.
I think Owusu goes before Parsons on draft day. I'm a bigger fan of Jeremiah Owusu than I am of Micah Parsons. That's me personally. I haven't seen that anywhere. But if Parsons' allegations are true, then he will fall down draft boards. But for right now, we're just going to assume that everything gets cleared up because Parsons is a phenomenal prospect, and Bill Belichick needs speed for his defense.
And we just talked about what happened in the Super Bowl, and I don't know. I think linebacker is a good pick for the Patriots.
It'd be interesting to see what they do at quarterback in free agency, because that means they probably found somebody.
Well, look, if they didn't sign Cam Newton, they would have been picking and would have been able to get one of these top guys in the quarterback position.
If they would have started Stidham, honestly, or Hoyer.
Yeah, the whole year. They only would have won 4 games max.
Arizona. I think this has to be Waddle. They need offensive linemen, but last year it seemed like Christian Kirk was very hot and then he got super cold, and the only option was DeAndre Hopkins for this team.
Yeah. And Waddle, I think, is this great value at 16. He's going to be what Christian Kirk was supposed to be, but never panned out to be. I know we say this every year, but I genuinely do think this is, Fitz's last hurrah. And
I think he's retiring, actually.
It wasn't a rumor that
I don't think it's confirmed yet.
Yes,
I thought he was going to come back.
I seen after the year that he was going to retire, but nothing became official. I guess people were assuming based on his last press conference of the year. But yeah, I think this makes too much sense.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to So this is a pick because my mock draft ended up different because that's how it goes when when you disagree with some of these picks. So I had Waddle going like very early on in mine, and I had him taking. This is kind of crazy, but what do you guys think if Waddle's not available? Right, I had them taking Kadarius Toney here in mine, and I know this is super early.
That's really early for Toney.
But you know how much NFL
We
teams
see it in the
love,
NFL.
NFL teams love speed. They do. Henry Ruggs was the first wide receiver taken last year. Obviously, Waddle won't be this year because of he's in the class.
But dude, I don't even think Toney's like a first round guy, to be honest with you.
I will guarantee he's a first round pick this year.
Maybe.
I'll guarantee it. He's going to be taken in this mock draft.
That's crazy.
Ryan's taking him.
It's coming up. I'm telling you. I'll convince you. Because I don't even have to convince you. Teams love speed, bro. We can't just not put him here. Should he be first? Like, is he better than Waddle? No. I think Bateman's better. But if you
he's not better than Terrence Marshall. He's faster, but he's not better.
Yeah, but he seems less speed, and he can play like running back and a slot wide receiver.
He could be like a Curtis Samuel, like a gadget guy. Do you value a gadget guy though at 16?
Like later on, there'll be a team that I have in mind too. I'll try to sell you to this particular team coming up. But okay. It is not the Raiders. So.
All right, what's
next? So actually, I got your boy Jeremiah.
Yeah, this is where I have Jeremiah going.
So I've had him here, and that makes sense because they just hired Gus Bradley, and they need like a linebacker, like Bruce Irvin type of role.
But it makes too much sense. So we know how the Raiders operate, and whatever we think they're going to do, they don't do just to be different than everybody else.
This is where everyone has him going, and I just have a feeling the Raiders are not going to do this, and I have a feeling it's going to be Barrymore. Like this is too high for Barrymore, but like
that's what the Raiders do.
Yeah,
they overdraft players at positions they don't need.
They overdraft linemen.
They definitely need it because they don't have any pass rusher. But that's
fair. But
pass rusher.
Come on, you need to go linebacker.
Like I think this pick should be Russo or Owusu, and
they never replaced Khalil Mack or anybody. Not forget of his caliber. Just a good linebacker hasn't been replaced since you traded him away.
Yeah. So what do you guys want to do? I think Owusu is the right pick or Russo, but I just don't think they're going to do this realistically.
Look, I don't think they're going to make a smart choice either, but I would still go Owusu.
All right. Well, we're going to have our final mocks come draft day. I'm not going to give them a lot.
It's a 1.0.
Yeah, this is a 1.0. The Miami Dolphins. So we gave them, who did we give them? Okay, Sewell. We gave him. So we didn't give him a wide receiver. What are we considering here? We're gonna help Tua further.
Yeah.
Defense.
If it's up to me, I am considering Russo or I'm considering Bateman.
And I think I see Bateman falling out of a lot of mocks in the first round, which I don't understand.
He's a guaranteed first round pick.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's pretty similar to Justin Jefferson. Not as explosive, but like he's a great route runner. I think he's going to be the best value wide receiver pick in this entire first round because he's not going to be taken in the top 5, top 10, and most likely not top 15.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
If it was up to me, it's Russo or Bateman, but you guys can make the final pick on this one. I could see they could go offense or defense. I don't think they're forced to go one side of the ball.
They do have a lot of picks, but I feel like after they just took tackle to help Tua,
you might go defense.
Like Flores might want a defensive piece.
That's fine. I'm good with that.
But is it Russo? You keep him in Miami?
Yeah, I think that's best available.
I don't think that's best available.
I think so.
I have 2 guys above him.
Besides quarterback, you need to go edge rusher. You have edge rushers higher than him?
2 guys above him.
So do I.
The Georgia guy, Aziz, and Joseph Osai from Texas.
I like Phillips better, but he has a massive concussion history, so we're going to see his medicals come.
Look, I just think, again, it's going to be edge rusher or I would go receiver eventually at some point in the draft.
Like, it makes sense to keep him in Miami because, he plays in Miami, but I think if you're Brian Flores, you know the difference between what guy you want.
All right, so we're going Russo. We're going Aziz.
You guys can go either or. I don't care. I'm
feeling Aziz.
Let's go Aziz, yeah, because they also are a team that doesn't take the traditional. And I like Aziz. I think he has the highest upside out of these edge rushers. So
this for me is Mac Jones.
This is my team for Toney.
Oh, you're crazy. This is my team for Mac Jones.
Okay. I can understand why, and they clearly need a quarterback. They just extended Heineke and you've seen based on the contract, it's clearly a backup role. But they're also in on the Sam Darnold sweepstakes, and I guess whatever else is going on.
They might not even have this pick.
They might not.
Same thing with Chicago. Same thing with Indianapolis. Mac Jones is going to one of these three next teams: 19, 20, or 21.
Okay, but let's
if he falls this far.
Let's just say Washington trade with, I don't know, maybe they get Marcus Mariota and they don't have to give a first round pick. I don't know, because Marcus Mariota is also a quarterback that's probably going to be traded. Why wouldn't it be Kadarius Toney here? No.
I like Rashad Bateman more.
So do I. But I'm just thinking, you have Terry McLaurin. All right, we desperately need a second option. Bateman makes a ton of sense, but Toney offers me
somebody
like crazy amount of speed, a great slot option.
I know, but are you going to do that for the 19th pick, or are you going to get somebody that could create the separation that Bateman can?
That's what I'm saying. Like, Bateman is just such a good separator that I don't think, like, I know the speed will gain the separation also, but it's just like someone that can do it naturally and like is skilled at it.
No, listen, you guys don't have to convince me. I'm a Bateman fan. Bateman's I love Bateman. I think he's clearly a better wide receiver than Toney.
And look, we see it all the time every year in the draft. We see wide receivers go above other ones that we think.
Jalen Reagor last year went before Justin Jefferson. So we're trying to also factor in like not what we would do. Like,
yeah.
You know what? I'll give you this pick, Ryan. I'll give you this pick.
Yeah, if you want to go Toney, you can go Toney. I think it's going to be a receiver. If not
what
Mac Jones.
The Chicago Bears. Is this where Carson Wentz is going to land, where they do not have to pick? Yes or no?
I think Carson Wentz is going. I think Carson Wentz is going one of these two teams. So whichever team you think Wentz will go to, I need you to draft Mac Jones to the other.
All right,
so I think Wentz is going to be a Colt.
The Colts apparently had the highest offer according to today, but over the weekend it seemed like Wentz to the Bears was a foregone conclusion. So there's a lot of smoke and stuff going around. I'm going to say ends up a Bear. I think Matt Nagy and Pace are more desperate than Chris Ballard. Chris Ballard, respected. Nagy and them are basically one season away, half season away from being fired. But what we're going to pick now is if they still have to pick. When the time comes and whether he's, whatever team Wentz get traded to, these mocks will, be different. But for right now, let's just give Mac Jones to Chicago because they're picking ahead of the Colts and it wouldn't make sense. They're very desperate. They could take a tackle. The Bears could do a lot of things here. This could be a great spot for Rashard Bateman if Allen Robinson.
Actually, you know what? Can we give them Bateman?
Allen Robinson's leaving, right? He's not coming back.
Yeah, he's made it clear he's leaving. And I just don't think with their jobs on the line, Nagy and Pace, that they're going to draft somebody that's going to need time to develop. Mac Jones is not going to win the football games right away. And I just think their jobs are too hot to be doing that. So actually, if they don't trade for Wentz, I actually don't think, now that I think about it, I don't think they're going to go.
But here's the thing, though. What are they going to do? Because Mitch Trubisky's a free agent and Nick Foles has a horrendous contract.
I think they're going to extend Trubisky. I don't think it's going to be anything like crazy, but they're going to extend him.
That's a nice.
Or you trade for Carson Wentz and hope for the best.
Okay, so the Colts obviously has landed in their favor.
This one has to be Mac Jones then, assuming that they didn't get Wentz.
Mac Jones' best bet would be to end up with the Colts because they have good weapons, they have a good offensive line. I do think Mac Jones is pretty good. I just don't know about the ceiling, but in a team like Indy, I think it makes sense. Tennessee, I think this has to be an edge rusher.
This is Gregory Rousseau for me. This is Rousseau for me. This is where he falls.
I think I would go Phillips here, depending on the
physicals, yeah. But I just think based on how everything's going to go, I think this is definitely the spot for Rousseau.
Based on what we know right now, Rousseau can play multiple positions in the Vrabel defense. We'll go Rousseau. The Jets.
Ryan, you could start us off with who you want with this one, and we'll give you our input and who we put.
Okay. So let me just see the whole entire board. Unfortunately, Bateman would have been a very nice pick, but we didn't end up having him. What I think is going to happen, and this all depends on what Darnold gets back. If Darnold gets back a late first, it'd be over the moon because then we can do multiple things. I don't think we're going to go guard here, even though, let me just look at the Vera Tucker actually.
Vera Tucker, I was about to say, dude, I don't think you guys pass on Vera Tucker.
And maybe we don't.
Because I think you, not for nothing, I know you want Joe Thuney, but I don't think you guys are landing him.
I think it's going to be us or Cincinnati who get him. So that's going to change, mock drafts depending on what happens. And even if we do get Joe Thuney, we need a right guard too. So don't count that out. I just think, Robert Saleh, first-year head coach, I think they'll throw him a bone here. I do. I unless a player like Bateman falls, and maybe Vera Tucker is too good to pass up on. I think I'd go.
Well, you
Jalen.
guys need another edge,
Yeah,
so it
I
makes
think I'd go
sense.
Phillips. Or
Really,
I
over
really
Osai?
like, I really like Collins. I do, and I know necessarily like the
I
linebacker.
don't think you're going linebacker, Ryan. I think this is
No,
either edge rusher or offensive line.
Collins is actually an edge, if we're being honest. Like he plays both, and I know he's listed as linebacker, but he can play edge. So I'm gonna assume that Phillips' medicals are okay, and I'm not passing up on him. I think he's insane.
I'm good with that pick.
Pittsburgh.
If the medicals don't check out, though, Joseph Osai should be your pick right there.
So who? Oh, the Jets.
Yeah.
I would go Collins or Vera Tucker over him. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know why. I can't get on board.
Fair enough.
Pittsburgh Steelers. I think
They were probably hoping for Mac Jones.
I think Vera Tucker.
Yeah. This has to be Vera Tucker at this point because who's retiring? Is it David DeCastro?
Pouncey.
Pouncey. Yeah, Pouncey. Sorry.
But still, like their offensive line was a mess this year in general. Like they couldn't run block, and they had issues even in pass protections. When Villanova, the left tackle, is a free agent, he's not signing back apparently. So this is just incredible value, and I think it's too good to pass up on. I've seen Najee Harris mocked here. I don't think the Steelers will go running back that early. I mean, it wouldn't stun me.
My very first one I had him mocked there, but I still have Najee Harris in the first round right now, by the way. So you guys are going to have to hear me out on this one.
I don't think the Steelers are going to go running back first round because I think, they still drafted Anthony McFarland Jr. last year, and I think they'll give him a shot before they draft somebody this high.
I don't think any running back ends up in round 1 this year.
No, you're going to hear me out on this one.
You're
going to hear me out on this one. We'll get there.
Okay, I'll hear you out. Jacksonville Jaguars. So we gave them Trevor Lawrence, of course.
So this I feel like could either be Barmore because they're abysmal at everything on defense wise, except for like maybe 2 or 3 positions, or I'm looking at either Cosme, honestly.
Yeah, depending on because maybe they can get Trent Williams in free agency, but right now they do not have an answer.
I think. Yeah, Urban Meyer's in the building now. I think he's going to build it like he's a traditional coach where he likes building his teams from the inside out. So this is either going to be offensive line or defensive line. I'm fine with either.
Yeah. I mean, Cosme's a steal at this, to be honest with you.
I think it's going to be best available.
I think this guy could be a
pick
offensive line round, and this would be where I have him, the safety from TCU.
Yeah, I've been hearing about him too a little bit.
But I agree.
I think we should go Cosme.
I don't think he's going to go in the first round. I think it'll be James or Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame. Leatherwood's not the 30th ranked player in this class. He's not. I can guarantee Leatherwood.
You don't like Jalen Mayfield?
I like Mayfield.
Yeah, I would say I like Mayfield too.
Mayfield's kind of like a Taylor Decker comparison, which it's not bad at all, especially at picking 25.
I've seen Eichenberg mocked here.
I like Eichenberg.
I mean, I'm down if you're down. Yeah,
Eichenberg or Mayfield.
I think I would go Mayfield over Eichenberg right now.
I would go Mayfield too.
All right, we'll go Mayfield. This wouldn't surprise me though if they did go Barrymore here, because they definitely need defensive line help. They need a lot of help, but Cleveland Browns. I think this has to be a linebacker.
Zaven Collins. Yeah,
I think if they would be stunned or they would be thrilled if this happened. Honestly, like they need linebacker speed.
They probably should have drafted one last year that they didn't.
This would be incredible for Cleveland. Baltimore Ravens. What do we think?
I actually have I have Terrence Marshall going here.
I don't know if they go another wide receiver in the first round. They easily could, but that's investing a lot into a position that's not producing for you yet. And knowing Baltimore and how they operate, again, I won't be surprised if they take defensive
edge
line.
wouldn't surprise me here either.
You still have Barmore there.
Yeah, this is tough. So I had Terrence Marshall, like Markello did, in a couple of mocks, and it makes sense because they need a big body outside receiver. But I'm just thinking of their free agents. Yannick Ngakoue is a free agent. Matt Judon's a free agent, and
Orlando Brown just requested to get traded.
Yeah, and they have another linebacker who's also a free agent and who's most likely walking out the door. So like the edge, you could tell me on one of these guys.
I would put Osai above all of them.
I mean, we're not going to mock it, but they could draft down Baltimore.
I don't think Wyatt Davis goes in the first round.
Neither do I. I'm just thinking because, Marciano retired, and they definitely need a center. I mean, their center situation was a mess last year. But Baltimore's a team that goes for value. We know this. It always seems like they got a good player that falls to them every single year.
Patrick Queen, jeez.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys want to do here? You can sell me on anything.
I don't think they go wide receiver.
Okay.
I think it was offensive line or defensive line. I would go Barmore, but if you want to draft an offensive lineman, I understand it. But like you said, they don't really reach on players, so I have best available Barmore. That's what I would do.
Probably.
Okay. I think this could be a sneaky spot for an edge, honestly. I know.
I wouldn't rule it out like Joseph Osai.
Yeah, I can, and especially
I can see that too.
If they lose all their free agents, edge rushers, or lose like 3 of them or 2 out of the 3. So Peter, you're New Orleans Saints from the clock. Sell us on what position you want or what prospect.
Well, like you said, I'm really hoping that there's still a prime edge rusher here, so I'm going edge rusher. Marcus Davenport's not working out. Cam Jordan's getting up there in age, but you could easily sell me on linebacker. If there's a linebacker there, let's see who's still on the board at linebacker.
Nick Bolton, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I would reach. I don't think I would reach. I think I'd rather go edge rusher.
I think Bolton is a first round pick, though. I
don't think he's a reach. I've actually seen a few mock drafts where they have Bolton going in your spot.
I've seen.
When was the last time we've seen? How many linebackers have we had drafted so far?
2, like inside line.
Yeah, 2. Owusu and Collins.
He could really be considered an edge, honestly. He really could be. Well, no, 3. We had Jeremiah, Owusu, Micah Parsons, depending on Collins. But
I think we still drafted Zach Bond last year, so maybe he'll get more playing time. And I don't know. I would go edge rusher. We're probably going to lose Trey Hendrickson.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of the season he had, he's just going to ask for money that we're not going to have, whether we pay Marcus Williams or whoever we get.
I mean, you could, if Emmanuel Sanders gets cut, Terrence Marshall.
I don't think. Again, Drew Brees is probably going to announce his retirement, so I'm assuming we're going in with Jameis Winston as the starter.
Yep.
And as long as we have, again, if we have Traquan Smith staying on the roster, if we extend him, and we saw Michael Thomas healthy and Kamara healthy, I don't think we go first round wide receiver. I would go Osai.
Yeah, I think it's good value too. One of the most interesting teams, I guess, to look at every year is the Packers.
You know what's crazy? They should draft wide receiver here, but they're not going to do it.
I mean, Terrence Marshall's sitting there.
They're not going to do it.
Rondell Moore's injury history and like a scary one, but he dominated as a freshman against.
I think he's super undersized, man. He's like 5'9", 5'10", something like that.
Well, let's picture the team, right? So, can we consider replacing Kevin King at this point in time?
Yeah, that's exactly.
No, not with any of these guys.
I think you can.
Maybe Eric Stokes. Maybe Eric Stokes.
I like Sean Wade.
No.
Yes.
Not
this
corner.
high, but I like him as a corner. Third round?
No.
Sean Wade's going top second round.
No, he's not. I will guarantee.
No, third.
Oh, I don't know. Third round. You think he falls out of the second round completely?
I don't think he goes on day 2. I don't. I think Sean Wade's straight up trash. I
would take him not as a cornerback 1, but what are you telling me? I would be happy if the Saints took him. If he fell somewhere with third round, I'd take Sean Wade in third round.
If you could tell me Eric Stokes, I'd say yeah.
Yeah, I think Stokes fits here.
Oh, you could go that. You don't even have to go corner because you could.
I really like
go
Newsome. I know he's ranked 74 here, but I think Newsome is going to be at least a second round pick. Like, there's always a riser in this. That's how it works. Greg Newsome is like the riser for me.
It's up to you, man. You tell me.
I'm not willing to do that right now. Just this is a name to watch going forward as mocks, come out later on. I'll go Stokes here. I think you're right, Peter. I mean, I clicked corner as soon as Peter said, like basically at the same time. That was my thought process. Should they probably maybe take Terrence Marshall? It's a possibility, but
yes, no, yes, they should, bro. They've been depriving the guy for how many years?
They're not going to do that.
No, it makes sense, but like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he did step up last year. I mean, he had some issues, but like he got better.
Yeah, Alan Lazard got hurt. He had the core surgery in the middle of the season.
Yeah, Lazard's pretty reliable, and Robert Tonyan became a very good tight end. So
yeah, that's true.
It's like I think corner is more of a pressing need. I do.
All right,
you cannot.
This is where it is. This is where you got to hear me out.
The Buffalo Bills. Okay,
Najee Harris.
I'll listen. You want to look at the board first, or you're just all in?
No. I don't need to look at the board. I've looked over the board many times. This is Najee Harris, 100%.
In my mock, I actually had Najee Harris going here to the Bills too. So I'm with you.
The running game is so dormant in Buffalo, and
you just made the AFC Championship.
Exactly
because of no running game. If you could catch the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand, I think you have to go
you.
Najee Harris.
Thank you, sir.
No,
You
what?
hit every
I'm
single
not-
point I was going to make right on the head.
Yeah.
The only thing missing from this team is a competent running game, and once they lock it down, we could see a Bills in the Super Bowl next year.
I do think they could use another corner.
I don't think any quarter's worth it at this point, though.
Yeah, not at this point. I will go. I'm taking Najee Harris here, but I'm saying in terms of need.
Okay. You know what? I'm not really going to disagree with you. The board really didn't fall in a favorable situation where some like star player fell here. I think if Buffalo wanted to, they could take another edge. I think, Penn State guy is good. Nick Bolton, I could consider taking here. Like depending on if Matt Milano walks in free agency, I think this is a great spot for Bolton. But assuming he doesn't and he gets re-signed, you know what? I'm all in because Devin Singletary's not good, and Zach Moss, we still don't know. I think he's better than Singletary, but am I very confident with those two as my starting running backs? No, we can get better.
I'm letting one of them go, and it's probably going to be Singletary.
All right,
Yeah, 100%.
You sold me on that. I have no issues with that.
And this one, I'm not budging. You have to give me an offensive tackle here.
Yeah, I don't care who it is.
Look at the board. The first three positions are offensive line based on value. They're not going running back.
It's not Leatherwood, in my opinion. I would give him Cosme over Leatherwood.
I don't
they
think
could use Bolton here.
I don't think Leatherwood is.
They could use Bolton here. You can make a case for him.
That can make a case for Bolton.
But
they could, but at the same time, like you can't make a case after what you just saw.
I just saw my $500 million quarterback run for his life and get smashed, and I'm protecting him with dear life.
So
didn't he run like something like 497 yards in total?
Yep,
like scrambling.
He ran scrambling. So obviously not yards that he actually rushed for, but in terms of just running around the football field up, down, across.
Yeah, that's bad.
You can't have that.
Okay, so I think I'm going to sell you guys. I think it's going to be Tevin Jenkins. I do.
I like him too.
Excellent right tackle. And Mitchell Schwartz is now going to be 33, I believe. And I don't know, like we talked about with the Chiefs and their contract situations, there's going to be guys who are just let go. Or maybe he even retires Schwartz. It's not out of the possibilities. I think Jenkins is the best value pick here because you still have Fisher under contract. And I mean, Eric Fisher got hurt super late, so I don't even know if he's going to be ready. Start the season? Probably not, right? Because he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
So I agree with you guys. I'm definitely going tackle here. This guy's is Dylan Radnuts. He like dominated the Senior Bowl, so like he's definitely a riser. I could see him going in the first round. Like the Chiefs would be like kind of the only possibility, but that wouldn't surprise me because there's always surprises in the first round. It is what it is. And now Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock.
I want you guys to make your argument. I'll go last.
Okay, I'm just trying to think. So they have a lot of free agents, but apparently they're going to sign all of them back. That's or they're going to Tom Brady is going to take a pay cut, or Mike Evans. They talked about
Mike Evans is going to donate the salary.
Yeah, I don't think it's a possibility for them to get all of them back. I do think Chris Godwin will be back. I do think Shaq Barrett will be back. I actually think they all will be back. I lied. I think Levante David will be back too. I don't think they're going to let him go. So with that being said, I don't think they need offensive line. They have one of the best in the league. They definitely don't need receiver because Antonio Brown will probably also likely be back. Linebacker, no, not really either. Edge, Jason Pierre-Paul's in his 30s. Shaq Barrett, 29.
I was thinking more like either Davion Nixon or who's the other interior D lineman. Can you go to the interior D lineman real quick? I'll see his name and I'll remember.
Sure.
Jay Tufele. There you go.
But don't you think we only had one defensive lineman in the first round, and I don't think any of these guys are worth. Like Tampa Bay can obviously reach because they don't really have a lot of holes.
I just think you have to just because what is this? Stu's like old as hell.
I mean, yes, Stu's a free agent too. He might not come back.
I have a request.
Okay, let's hear it.
You don't have to do it.
Are you thinking Eaton because Fournette?
I was, yes. I'm thinking of what Kansas City did last year where they saw their team, you could have drafted anywhere really. You just won the Super Bowl, you could draft anywhere. But I really do think Tom Brady's going to play till he's like 50. I don't think he's slowing down anytime soon. I still think Tom Brady's going to play for another 4 years at least. So I think he's going to finish out this contract and sign for another 2 more. Let's call it 3 years, right? Okay. Left to Tom Brady. Ronald Jones is under contract for this next year, but then after he's a free agent, and Lombardi Lenny, playoff Lenny, he's probably going to be back, assuming he takes a pay cut. Again, he's not going to be making that much money because they picked him up. He has on a 1-year deal right now with Tampa. So whether or not he's the third running back of your committee, we already know. What's his face? Keyshawn Vaughn, their rookie, He's not going to see the field ever. And I just think Etienne is what Vaughn was supposed to be, a pass catching running back for Tom Brady.
I mean, you could sell me on it. They don't have a lot of needs.
Yeah.
Like
I think they keep their wide receiving core. I still like Tyler Johnson as a receiver off the bench when you have to bring him in on third downs. You're still going to have your tight ends. You could convince me that
they need a tackle. Maybe one.
And move on from Donovan Smith in a year or two?
Yeah. You could convince me to like give him Eichenberg or like.
It's up to you guys.
I would go running back here for them. I just think Tom Brady loves his check down running backs. And we saw, even though
they just signed James White, he's a free agent for like nothing.
Who?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Is he going to get playing time?
Is
probably not.
I don't know, but 8 to 9. I don't think they're going to. I think maybe you guys are right. Maybe there'll be one running back. I cannot see 2 running backs in the first round.
No.
I think he's talented enough to go at the end of the first round, and I don't see obviously teams besides the Bills who would take a running back, and I don't think he's Najee Harris. And I just think it's what Brady needs. You need a check down option, especially, again, he's still Tom Brady, he's still winning Super Bowls, but you don't want him to be throwing, 300, 400 yards a game. You want some kind of a running game, and Ronald Jones can't catch screen passes or anything out of the backfield. Even though Leonard Fournette can do it, I don't think you want Leonard Fournette out there for all 4
I'd say
downs.
we go with Peter on this just because, like, they are picking
go
at
elsewhere.
the end of the first.
Again, they could go. They just won the Super Bowl. They showed dominance. Not really holes on their team. I would just draft either something to help Tom Brady because you're going as far as Tom Brady takes you. So if you want to go a backup offensive lineman, you could do that. Or if you want to go, like you said, with an edge rusher, just to keep handy, sub in on third downs and stuff. You can go anywhere.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll take 8 to 9. I mean, it's hard picking for teams to win the Super Bowl, especially the Bucs. Like they kind of like the Chiefs were last year. They can go in so many different directions.
I just figured because of Ronald Jones's contract and his stone hands.
And listen, there's not a guarantee that they sign back Fournette. Like, it's not 100% guaranteed. I think they will because he's probably not going to demand a huge contract. But Tampa Bay will unfortunately have to lose a player or two. And obviously, Fournette's not a huge loss, but it's just like, just how the NFL works. I know everyone wants to come back, and I think they will make it work for majority of their players. So if Fournette is the person who ends up leaving, this would make a lot of sense. Even if he doesn't leave, I think.
Well, look, you were saying before, you were thinking like, okay, Shaq Barrett, they're definitely going to bring back, right? All of these players that on their defense are going to bring back. They have to bring back because that's really what won them the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So if you keep all your defensive players, you're going to sacrifice somebody on the offense, and I think it's going to be one of the 2 running backs.
And I'm good with that. That's the way you should build a team. Like that's probably the least important position. So, what I'm saying in terms of allocating money toward.
You get one rookie deal, you have him locked down for all those years.
Yeah,
because think about it. You have Ronald Jones for 1 more year. That's guaranteed if you stay with him. And then you have Leonard Fournette, whether you could bring him back this year or not. You're not bringing back Leonard Fournette more than 1 year. And Ronald Jones is going to be a free agent after this year anyway. So after the 2021 season, you're going to need a running back. And if you have one now, you won't have to worry about it.
And listen, Jason Light has taken like players, not necessarily like positional players. Like he usually does draft best player available, especially in the first round. It has worked out for him. Like Devin White's not a conventional top 5 pick as like a but because of value, that's what he went. So you could sell me on it. I mean, you did sell me on it for 1.0.
Yep.
But anything else before we wrap up?
I'm good.
We're good.
That's good for now. We have to see next QB domino to fall, and when that happens, we'll cover it.
Yeah, that's good by me. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Talk to you guys next week.
See you next week.